Alright, let's dive into something that's been brewing in the world of golf, and trust me, it's a doozy. Imagine this, LIV Golf, the league that's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons lately, is back at Trump National Bedminster this week. But here's the kicker, the drama off the course is way more intense than anything happening on it. Personally, I think this is where things get really interesting. It's not just about golf anymore, it's about survival, strategy, and a whole lot of uncertainty. So, what's going on? Well, LIV Golf is in turmoil, and I mean serious turmoil. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, their main backer, announced they're pulling out at the end of the season. That's a huge deal, right? But here's where it gets even more fascinating. LIV's CEO, Scott O'Neill, has been pitching this idea of LIV 2.0, a streamlined version with fewer events and smaller prize purses. Now, I don't know about you, but this screams desperation to me. It's like they're trying to pivot mid-air, and honestly, I'm not convinced it's going to stick. What makes this really interesting is the timing. Players haven't even been officially told if alternate funding has been secured, yet staff members are already getting termination notices. Early September, to be exact. Think about that for a second. These are people who've been working behind the scenes, building this league, and now they're being let go with a vague promise of maybe, being part of LIV 2.0. From my perspective, this feels like a last-ditch effort to cut costs and buy time. But here's the thing, cutting costs doesn't solve the core problem. LIV needs a sustainable model, not just a band-aid fix. And let's talk about the players for a second. These are some of the biggest names in golf, and they're in limbo. Take Martin Kaymer, for example. He's already said there's only a 5% chance the season-ending team championships will happen. 5%. That's not just uncertainty, that's a full-blown crisis. What many people don't realize is that these players aren't just losing a tournament, they're losing a platform, a paycheck, and potentially their reputation if LIV folds. Now, here's where it gets even more speculative. LIV sources are saying they're confident about securing a sizable investment. But confidence doesn't pay the bills, does it? If you take a step back and think about it, LIV's entire existence has been built on Saudi funding. Without that, they're essentially starting from scratch. And in a sport as traditional as golf, that's a tough sell. This raises a deeper question, is LIV Golf even viable in the long term? Personally, I think they've painted themselves into a corner. They've alienated the PGA Tour, burned bridges with sponsors, and now they're cutting staff to stay afloat. It's like watching a house of cards wobble in the wind. But here's the part one find most fascinating, LIV's insistence on discipline during these precarious times. They're framing cost-cutting as a strategic move, but let's be real, it's damage control. What this really suggests is that LIV is willing to sacrifice almost anything to survive. The question is, at what cost? As we wrap this up, I'm left wondering, what's next for LIV Golf? Will they secure that investment? Will the players stick around? Or is this the beginning of the end? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. And if you ask me, it's only going to get more chaotic from here. So, what do you think? Is LIV Golf on its last legs, or do they still have a shot? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more analysis on the biggest stories in sports. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.